If you were to get punished for one of the 7 deadly sins, which one do you think it would be for? Do we think you can be gluttonous for video games? Because I spend all my time ravenously consuming any little indie game I can get my hands on, so I'm pretty flipped, I would say. But if Sintopia is anything to go by, hell isn't too bad. Just a lot of waiting in lines to go to de-sinning classes and then getting resurrected into a little bean guy. So yeah, definitely not too bad. But is this management sim taking me to heaven, or is it just plain purgatory?
That's not energy, that's raw sin.
Oh no! Is that a demon?
But first, head over to patreon.com/idreamofindiegames, where you'll be able to support real people making real things and gain access to a whole bunch of awesome rewards. Sintopia is a management sim game all about taking control of hell to build a profitable and effective incorporation that cleanses sinners of their sins before sending them back to the overworld. However, unlike other sim games of a similar type, you also need to manipulate the citizens of the overworld to ensure no demons appear, the ruler is on your side, and that your hell enterprise always has a healthy flow of new souls. Building a conveyor belt of soul cleansing in hell is your usual management sim fare. You'll need to manage your wait times, ensure buildings are connected by paths and that your costs don't outweigh your income. But you'll also need to handle the various requirements of the souls entering your fiery domain. Some souls have sinned so much in the overworld that they have become deviants and cannot be cured by a simple stern talking to. Instead, you'll need to build sin-specific facilities that can strip them, sometimes literally, of their sins. But the key difference in Sintopia is the addition of the overworld, where normal management sims will leave you with a stream of customers entering your establishment. In this one, you'll be in charge of playing God and dealing with the autonomous societies that inhabit the various overworld islands. These societies are full of hummus. No, I didn't just have a stroke. Citizens of this world are called hummus, a bunch of little chickpeas with their own lives, jobs, and sins to invest in. To answer a question I had about the game, you do not get to control or develop the overworld civilization yourself. The most you can do is use a few powers to kill, heal, or influence the townsfolk. To stop them boinking and creating more babies, as well as upping their lust sin, you'll use your wind powers to ring nearby bells and harsh the vibe. If the ruler isn't sending your hummus in the right direction, then you can zap him and let someone new take the reins. Or if your city is being attacked by demons, wargs, or little lizard guys, then you can use your more destructive powers to help defeat the enemies. Here lies my first issue with Sintopia. Until I unlocked the cultists in the campaign, and even then to an extent, I don't think my manipulation ever really made a difference. Killing a ruler only ever really felt necessary once the sin level had gotten too high. Their goals and plans for the hummus, I never really noticed a difference. And to be quite honest, as someone who loves city builders, I almost wish there was as much management that needs doing in the overworld as there is in hell. I mostly spent my time in the hell realm during my playtime because the hummus seemed to just get on with it. It only felt necessary to pop upstairs when I was told something was going awry. Speaking of the hell side of things, there are a few things in the system that I feel are either not explained in the tutorial levels or simply end up being a bit frustrating. When the souls arrive in hell, initially they come 5 at a time from the graveyard in the overworld. Once they arrive, they'll head off from the Hell Plaza and somewhat randomly head towards any facility they can reach. If you set up 4 Omni-Sin Doctors, which are the sin cleansing buildings, these souls seem to gravitate towards either the ones that have someone waiting outside, or, weirdly, the first or last one in a row, which can be a bit annoying when the number of souls increases. But the thing is, this game takes so long for anything to happen. The facilities themselves take the piss. If you try and set up a waiting booth to remove some of the queuing, it takes ages to deploy a soul to a building, and if your souls or employees or walking anywhere, it all takes forever. I feel like I was in a form of purgatory, staring at my own objectives ticking up so slowly as I entered day after day of meandering stats changes and slow upticks in the money I could spend. The third level of the campaign requires you to hit an alive population of 200 and have cleansed 6,000 sin points from your souls, which took me absolutely hours to do. I rearranged my layout, I went back over the tutorials to see if I'd missed something, I even left it going while I wandered off, and in the end I had to almost completely restart the level after all that time because a simple world-ending event was happening, and I entered a race to the finish line between my powers regenerating and a demon destroying my temple. There are 3 main types of currency to be gathered from processing souls in Hell. When a soul goes through a processing centre, you earn a lump sum of purga dollars. These are what you will use to buy new facilities, pay employees, and develop your processing in Hell. Heroes are gained when you manage to get a soul's sin points down below 50, and they have turned into a hero. These are used to unlock new buildings, skills, or powers in your Liber Administratum. And then faith coins, which are gained by having cultists later on in the game, or by sending souls through certain entertainment buildings. These are used to do your powers in the overworld. There are ways to sort your souls to make the layout more effective. Gates allow you to add rules onto paths and control which way a certain hummus will head. If they're already pretty low on the old sinometer, you can send them straight to the resurrection portal. But if they need a bit more work, need to keep their cult level, or they are just so gosh damn horny they need to see a little imp do a striptease, then you can send them round the houses again. But make sure you're not stupid like I apparently am, because it took me about 3 hours of playing to finally figure out what the rules should be to make them work. There is a sandbox mode and a challenge mode if you're looking to branch out, but the main campaign follows a story where we have been given the job of the new administrator of Hell by the chairman, who mysteriously seems to look like a certain God. He is trusting you to handle the cleansing of the hummus after a certain naughty angel, aka Lucifer, betrayed him. So you, with the help of a collection of little demons and a very raunchy Lilith, aka Lily, will need to complete tasks, avoid being exiled, and potentially take down the big dog in charge. One of the highlights of the game is the fantastic graphics and how well designed all the animations are. The colourful and cartoony world of Sintopia is reminiscent of games like 2 Point Hospital and Evil Genius, quirky management games of a similar vibe. All of the hummus are rounded and wonky looking. They also all have terrible posture and are in desperate need of a chiropractor, though not sure chickpeas actually have spines, so. Then, my favourite part is the imps and the many animations each of the different emporiums have. The anti-pride animation involves a poor soul being crushed in front of a live studio audience, our lust sinners are treated to a tasteful striptease from a little imp, and lots more. These little animations are so detailed and full of depth, which is a real treat, given these buildings could have just been rabbit holes that souls disappeared into for a minute at a time. Another thoroughly detailed and perfectly crafted element of Sintopia is the sound design and specifically the music. There are songs, with lyrics might I add, that have been fully crafted for this game, and are something I feel should be shouted out more in their marketing. There are, of course, background tracks without lyrics, but it all complements the quirk that is rife throughout this game. Plus, with a full voice cast, who are both French and English, there is even more personality to be found within the slightly evil walls of Hell Inc. The game runs great on PC, even with all the little goobers running around, and in general sat at 60 FPS for the whole time, which incidentally can be seen in the overlay I left over a chunk of the footage. Oopsie. There are a few accessibility settings, but not an awful lot of visual changes, i.e. making text bigger, or making enemies or hummus stand out amongst the backdrop. And if I'm being honest, which I probably should be, the ability to zoom out a bit further than currently available in Hell would have been a great help when placing down roads and buildings. Hopefully, these can be implemented in patches down the line. I'm struggling with Sintopia, I really am. I want to praise it for all the fun and imaginative content they've created. The songs, the animation and the art style are all great, and the introduction of god game mechanics into a management sim game is such a clever addition to an already great genre. I suppose I wish it had just been a bit more fun. There is, as so often there will be, a speed up button, but even then it didn't feel like things were moving particularly fast. Perhaps processes are a bit too long, maybe making money should be easier so you can expand quicker, or perhaps sins should decrease at a faster rate. Either way, perhaps some fine-tuning is in order. And maybe I am wrong, and I simply don't know how to patiently wait for things to happen like a good little Catholic. But if I was to assign one sin to this game, it would probably be greed for how keen it is to take all of my time. Here at I Dream of Indie Games, we believe all games deserve more than just a number, so we've designed a very special ranking system all of our own. You want to avoid the heathenistic indie Krampus at all costs, but you'll be feeling godly if you get the golden genie lamp of approval. And thus I will reward Sintopia with a table lamp of mediocrity.